Have you ever found yourself feeling overwhelmed, irritable, or just drained by your surroundings? Like, it's not uncommon to experience these emotions, especially in a world that's constantly buzzing. But what many people don't realize is that these feelings could be closely tied to your sensory needs. So understanding and acknowledging our unique sensory preferences is like discovering a secret code to feeling more comfortable and regulated in our daily lives. So in this video, we're going to explore your specific sensory needs in each of the 7 sensory areas, and we'll talk about how you can adapt to them, because this can help you regulate your emotions and improve your mental health. So let's jump in. If you want to follow along with the assessment that I'm doing on paper, or if you'd like to print out the list of accommodations we're going to talk about at the end, make sure and go to the link in the description. There'll be a free resource on my website where you can download this there. Okay, hi everyone, I'm Emma McAdam. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. And first, I just want to throw out a disclaimer. This is not an official psychological assessment. You should always work with your individual providers as you explore what your individual needs are. An occupational therapist or a mental health provider that is skilled in sensory processing disorders can help you get tailored interventions if you have specific needs. Now, that being said, we all know you can learn a ton from the internet, and I would say this is one of those cases. We aren't diagnosing you with anything, we're just exploring what your sensory needs might be so that you can adjust your actions and your environment to help yourself feel more relaxed and regulated throughout the day. We're going to explore 7 main sensory need areas, and with each area, you can evaluate whether you are a sensory seeker, a sensory avoider, or if you're neutral or mixed in those areas. And then we're going to talk about a couple of great ways that you can adapt to meet your needs. And again, this is meant to be kind of an overview, an introduction to sensory needs. There are some great books out there. One of my favorites, if you really want to dive into very specific interventions you can do for specific sensory needs. One of the great books out there is called A Buffet of Sensory Interventions. I think that one's great. So with each of these 6 main sensory areas, and I am combining taste and smell because they have so much overlap, they're pretty hard to separate. You can look in each of these areas. I'm going to read off a bunch of experiences or characteristics of these areas. You can put a little tally mark in a chart like this. You can download it from my website to see if you're a seeker or an avoider. So we're going to start with touch. I'm going to read off 10 characteristics. And if you have a bunch of sensory seeking in touch, that might be an indication you need more touch experiences in your life. And if you're a sensory avoider with touch, you have a bunch of tally marks in the sensory avoiding area with touch, then that's going to mean you maybe want to tailor your environment to get less tactile experiences. So, okay, let's jump into number 1, which is touch. Number 1 is physical contact. So this is like hugs, cuddles, snuggling, handshakes, pats on the back, physical sports like wrestling or roughhousing. Do you seek out these experiences? Put a tally mark there. Do you avoid these experiences? Put a tally mark there. If it's sometimes, it depends, or it doesn't really matter either way, put that in mixed or neutral. Okay, number 2, do you enjoy or seek out extreme temperatures on your skin, like cold air on a winter's day or the heat from a sauna or a hot bath? Textures, do you love rough canvas clothing or lots of jewelry or blankets or textures like satin or silk? That would be a sensory seeker. Put a tally mark on seeking if you love lots of textures. Or do you avoid intense textures and seek out things that are always soft or smooth or consistent? Put a little tally mark in avoider. Messy play. So this is things like touching and experiencing lots of textures, like lotion, slime, sand, Play-Doh, finger painting, doing the dishes, working in the dirt. Number 5, do you like to touch stuff all the time? I have a kid who literally touches everything with her hands and sometimes with her mouth and with her tongue. She just wants to feel it all. Do you fidget all the time? Do you enjoy feeling the texture of walls or feeling what objects feel like? Or do you avoid that? Grooming, combing your hair, washing your face, feeling a shower, touching your hair, skin, or nails frequently, getting toweled dry. Do you seek those experiences, avoid those experiences, or you're like, meh, doesn't matter? Deep pressure, massages, hugs, or being squeezed between cushions. A preference for tight-fitting clothing is sensory seeking, and preferring loose clothing is sensory avoiding. Okay, number 8, difficulty concentrating without tactile stimulation. So someone maybe can pay more attention if they're rubbing an object. They're like touching something while they're trying to pay attention. Number 9, surprise touches. So this is like being tickled, bumping into someone at a concert, being in a crowded subway. Do you seek these experiences or do you avoid them? And number 10, the feeling of certain food textures or temperatures. So when it comes to eating, a lot of people have sensory preferences. And there's a lot of different aspects of this. There's the smell of it, there's the taste of it, and in this case, we're talking about the feel of it, the temperature or texture of food. So some people seek out exciting combinations of food textures like sushi or chips, like crunchy potato chips. Other people avoid those textures and they would just want to limit what they eat to a very consistent texture like bread or pasta, something smooth and consistent. Okay, so that's the 10 kind of experiences that we look at with touch. And I'm not going to give you a number. I'm not going to say like, oh, if you have 5 or more, you're a sensory seeker, like in the tallies in the sensory part. I'm just going to say like, look at it and get an idea of what you like and what you don't like. And if you really want a diagnosis, work with an occupational therapist. Okay, number 2, proprioceptive. This is our body sense. This is like how our body feels in relation to itself. So we're looking at number 1 is physical play, like roughhousing, wrestling, or playfully crashing into objects. Number 2, jumping or bouncing. Do you seek that out? Do you constantly jump, bounce, wiggle? Number 3, pushing against surfaces, like squeezing yourself, like pushing yourself up against walls or doors, or squeezing yourself in furniture to get that deep pressure. Do you love sports? Like football, rugby, martial arts, something very physical, body movement oriented. Gymnastics is a perfect example of the proprioceptive sense, like you're moving your body in a very specific way. Yoga too. Do you enjoy weighted items like weighted vests or lap pads? Do you have a hard time sitting still or fidget or shift positions frequently? That would mean you're seeking proprioceptive stimulation. If you don't like moving, if you like holding still and being very still, that would be more on the avoiding side. And if you don't really notice it, you're neutral. Do you like having your eyes closed or covered? Do you like squeezing a stress ball, tight hugs, or squeezing yourself between cushions? Do you like heavy work or effort? So do you seek out like manual labor, pushing or pulling heavy furniture, climbing, carrying heavy objects? Or do you really avoid that? Or are you neutral? And then other tactile experiences that provide deep pressure help us gain awareness of our proprioceptive self. So this includes rolling on a foam roller, getting a massage, lying under a weighted blanket, constantly manipulating objects like twisting or squeezing a pen. All of these kind of satisfy someone's need for proprioceptive input. And again, with each of these, if you seek them, you look for them, you want them, you're constantly engaging in them, you're more of a seeker. If you're like, no, I don't like touching stuff, I don't like fiddling with stuff, you're more of an avoider. Okay, number 3, vision. Do you like looking at shining, spinning, or moving objects? Like, do you love fairy lights, Christmas lights, or sunlight streaming through windows? Do you love lava lamps or pinwheels, right? Like, do you just love looking at those things? Do you like searching for objects, like rock hounding, bird watching, seek and find activities, or observing nature? Do you love to make or experience art, like drawing, painting, or coloring, or going to an art museum to look at art? Do you enjoy reading for long periods of time? Do you seek out or avoid busy visual environments? Whether that's having lots of pictures on your walls or enjoying window shopping at the mall, right? Do you like having a ton of visual stimulation? Do you like visual puzzles, like jigsaw puzzles or optical illusions or spot the difference games? Do you like visual variety? So bright lights, vibrant colors in clothing or toys, or do you prefer a minimalist environment? Do you like busy, bright, action-packed TV, movies, or video games? Or do you prefer More like Studio Ghibli. Okay, number 9, eye contact. Do you like eye contact? Number 10, attention to detail. Okay, number 4, taste and smell. Do you seek or avoid unfamiliar scents like lotions, candles, and perfumes? New tastes. Do you like to eat new and exciting foods? Intense flavors like spicy, salty, bitter, sour, etc. Or really strong smells like the smell of gasoline or cleaning supplies or plastics. Do you like new or exciting food textures? So slimy sushi, popping boba, like a Crunchwrap Supreme has a lot of textures in there. Pop Rocks, right? They're a candy that has a flavor, but also a texture. How about natural smells, like really strong smells of evergreen or rain or something out in nature, like mud or dirt, you know? Do you like really highly flavored food? I think highly flavored food, I would say, is like food that has a lot of spices and a lot of spice variety, even if it's not spicy. Do you seek to eat a large variety of foods? You'd be a seeker. Or do you eat the same foods over and over again? You like to eat a predictable food. You'd be more of an avoider. Do you like exotic or foreign foods? Or food with lots of different flavors. So where you take like salty caramel, it's sweet and salty. Or lemon and salmon, right? They're like two flavors that kind of fuse together. Or do you use a lot of different spices in cooking? Okay, number 5, vestibular. Do you seek or avoid swinging, spinning? So like toys that spin or merry-go-rounds or the teacup ride at Disneyland or spinning chairs that spin, you know, like furniture that spins. Number 3 is wild or fast rides, fast transportation like roller coasters. Like, do you get excited about this? Do you seek this out? Do you love like snowmobiling really fast? Or do you kind of avoid like fast transportation? Tumbling, gymnastics, and flips. Movement in general, riding in a car, elevators, escalators. People who are really sensitive to vestibular input, they're like vestibular avoiders might really hate elevators or escalators. And maybe it's not that they're afraid of it, you know, crashing or breaking or getting stuck. They just don't like the sensation of movement like that. Balancing, like rocking chairs or just like leaning your chair back. Swings, hammocks, anything that's rocky. Number 7 is heights. You like climbing or looking out windows of skyscrapers. Do you seek or avoid balancing? So like riding a bike, balancing on a log, walking on uneven ground, or skateboarding. Number 9, jumping, like jumping on trampolines or off a bench or off a diving board. And number 10, getting upside down. So doing headstands, doing like inversion tables, cartwheels, handstands, things like that. Okay, number 6, auditory. Do you seek or avoid white noise, like background music, fans, or dishwashers running? Noisy settings, like a coffee shop or a crowded restaurant or parties. Loud music, like concerts, loudspeakers, or like cars that don't have mufflers. Noise making. So do you constantly make noise? Humming, tapping, clapping, singing spontaneously. Number 5, creating music. So singing and playing instruments. Do you constantly looking to do more of that? Do you seek or avoid feedback sounds? So like chimes when you complete a task, notifications on your phone, the beeping of a microwave when it's done. Do you seek or avoid rhythm, like drumming, tapping, or patterns, or echoes? Do you like exploring sounds, like making echoes or booms, or just kind of experimenting to make noises? Do you seek or avoid exciting sounds, so like unexpected sounds, noisy toys, loud TVs, fire alarms, things like that? And then as part of auditory, we're going to throw in dance or vibrations, like the feeling of a very loud subwoofer, or a vibrating massage chair, or humming bridges, just that like, you know? Okay, so that's number 6, auditory. So hopefully at this point, you've filled out your little table, your little chart. You can look at those tally marks and evaluate, you know, are you really strongly seeking or avoiding? In each area, there were 10 items. And if the majority of them are in seeking or avoiding, that might indicate you need a little bit more changes to your environment to help you feel more regulated. Now, in the next part of this video, we're going to talk about how to create those accommodations or changes to your environment to help you have a better sensory diet. And you can use the chapters in the video to jump to the sections you need if you don't want to listen to the whole video. So check out the description or down in the little bar at the bottom of YouTube. You can click on the section you need. So one thing to note, we all have a sensory comfort zone. We also have a stretch zone and a panic zone. So let's say I like it quiet. That's my comfort zone. I work best when it's quiet. But I can go work in a loud or crowded place for a little while, or I can handle background music or white noise and be okay. But then if I'm in an area where there's constantly banging and clashing and fire alarms and just noise all the time, that puts me into a place where it's harder for me to get regulated. It's okay to spend time in your stretch zone or even moments in your uncomfortable, your panic zone. And we can actually kind of shift our ability to tolerate discomfort by spending time out of our comfort zone. We don't want to get stuck in just avoiding, because that can really limit the types of places we go or the types of activities we engage in. So our goal is to create a sensory diet that can help us function in our lives. So as you explore these accommodations, don't get sucked into too much avoidance. Try to find a balance that supports you in living the life that you desire, even when sometimes it's uncomfortable. So what that means is you're going to spend some time maybe in environments that aren't as comfortable. Maybe at work you wear clothing that's not super comfortable, but then you come home and you put on your sweats. That's like taking care of your sensory needs. Or if you like things really quiet, you work in quiet for much of the day, but then you open your office doors, an hour or two so people can connect with you and interact with you when you need to. So as you explore these accommodations, don't get sucked into too much avoidance. Try to find a balance that supports you in living the life that you value, even when that's uncomfortable sometimes. And again, if you have very specific needs, you can benefit from working with an occupational therapist who specializes in sensory accommodations. Okay, I'm gonna go grab a glass of water and then I'll come back for part 2. If you wanna follow along with the assessment that I'm doing on paper, or if you'd like to see, print out the list of accommodations we're gonna talk about at the end, make sure and go to the link in the description. There'll be a free resource on my website where you can download this there. Okay, so if you are a touch seeker, you can get tactile sensory tools like fidget toys, textured objects, or sensory balls to play with. You want to create opportunities for physical play, like wrestling, hugging, or playfully crashing into soft objects. You could use weighted blankets or vests, which can provide deep pressure and tactile input. You can buy specific clothing and bedding made from sensory-friendly materials like soft cotton or fleece to make you feel more comfortable. And then you want to incorporate scheduled sensory breaks. And this could include hugs, squeezes, gentle massages to, fulfill those touch-seeking tendencies. You could also use a back scratcher or a massage ball, a foam roller or a massage gun. All of these kind of provide that tactile support. And I think this is one reason why a lot of people like pets, because you can get some physical touch a lot more frequently. Okay, if you're a touch avoider, you might want to find ways to ask people to respect your personal space and be really assertive about that. So you can just let people know, I'd rather do a handshake instead of a hug. And it's best when parents and teachers and coworkers, whatever, respect the individual's need for personal space than to try and push hugs onto them. Another thing you can do is help make contact more predictable. So if someone is a touch avoider, you might want to ask them if it's okay to give them a hug or provide a warning when physical contact is about to happen. I'm going to buckle your seatbelt now. And you let them know so that they can prepare for that. You can also ask people how they like to be touched. A lot of touch avoiders, they don't like a light or a glancing touch, but they may like a firm, consistent, predictable touch. So Temple Grandin made herself a hug machine to meet her needs. The other thing you might want to do is explore clothing options. So a lot of touch avoiders prefer clothing made from soft, non-irritating fabrics. They might hate tags or belts or dangly things, or they might not prefer to have their hair down. They might prefer loose-fitting or stretchy clothing. And then for people in work environments or even at school, at their desks and in their projects, they might need a little bit more space, and they might need to take breaks as needed. So you might, if you're in college, you might sit on the end of a row or the very center of a row where no one's going to walk past you and bump you. You might, in elementary school, move a child's desk further away from the others so they're not getting bumped into as much. Quiet, like in offices, you can designate like a quiet space or your personal space, or find a place to go where you can not be touched. Okay, so that's touch. Next up is for proprioceptive seekers. You might just do better with a job or in your sensory diet incorporating in heavy work activities like lifting, carrying, or pushing objects. This provides deep proprioceptive input. You might like a job that has more manual labor, or you might just need breaks in between like non-manual labor to walk or exercise or to do something physical, maybe before your workday, at lunch, or after your workday. Weighted items, weighted blankets, vests, or lap pads can provide a calming sensation. Deep pressure tools like massage, stress balls, compression clothing, or engaging in sensory play. So using materials like clay, Play-Doh, or putty to engage the muscles and joints, that can add some proprioceptive input. And then just implement structured daily routines that involve physical tasks. For me, like this is me. When I was in grad school and even now in my work, I like work for an hour and then I go for a walk. And then I'll sit for an hour and work on my computer and then I'll go dig in my garden. Like getting physical labor is essential for me to feel regulated. So my ideal job, if I had to work 40 hours a week, would be like 20 hours of doing therapy, like a sitting job, and 20 hours of like mowing lawns, like working as a landscaper, because that would meet my sensory diet. Okay, for proprioceptive avoiders, we want to make sure, again, to be assertive about their needs, their space, and their boundaries so that people can respect their boundaries. You want to, again, same with the tactile, you don't want to surprise people with picking them up and waving them around. You can help them predict it or minimize those kinds of interactions. You might provide flexibility in some physical activities, like allowing an individual to opt out of hanging upside down on the gymnastics bar and instead just let them hang by their hands. Just like tailoring activities to make them not so intense. Let people know ahead of time when there's going to be a change, like, oh, the car is going to start moving now. I'm pushing the button on the elevator. It's going to go up soon. That can be really helpful. I think for a lot of adults, they can predict that, but for a lot of kids, they can't. Whew, okay. On to visuals. Let me get another sip of water. Okay, so for a visual seeker, you want to provide visually stimulating materials and activities. So you're going to have colorful artwork or kaleidoscopes or sensory light projectors. Like you're going to have a room that is exciting. You're going to use at work interesting presentations, visual calendars, and physical visual trackers. So like, oh, hey, this is how close we are to our goal. And it's like a big poster on the wall with a giant red arrow. You want to use visual timers or countdown clocks to support time management and transitions. Visual schedules or charts with like colorful and engaging visuals help an individual understand and follow their daily routines. And like set up your workspaces with lots of colorful, visually appealing decorations, supplies, plants, lighting. And then again, you can set up reward systems with visual charts and tokens, bright and attractive things to reinforce that positive behavior. For a visual avoider, we're going to talk about minimalism, right? We want to have minimal decorations, minimal visual clutter. You're going to close up like your bookshelves with doors. You're going to use soft beige, muted colors, and that's going to help reduce sensory overload. We're going to declutter. We're going to use curtains, blinds, or windows to control the amount of natural light that comes in. We're going to make sure that instead of having bright and exciting visual trackers and visual charts, we're going to use very minimal information, very simple, non-cluttered calendars, for example. Sunglasses, tinted glasses for outdoor activities, those can help reduce the glare and brightness. And you can also experiment with like filters and apps that take down the brightness of your screens. That can help people. Okay, for taste and smell seeker, They're going to want a wide range of foods, lots of different flavors, spices, and seasonings. That's going to help satisfy their cravings. You're going to encourage them to cook and do food preparation. They can engage their sense of taste and smell. You're going to create like sensory-friendly dining environments. These are well-lit, comfortable, and not too cluttered, like not too many overwhelming smells. Or they might love having essential oils, aromatherapy, scented lotions, scented perfumes, and just in general, you're adding in all these fun things. I think in general, taste and smell seekers, they're going to know how to do that because our society really supports that. On the other hand, people who are taste and smell avoiders, I think, suffer a little bit more. So let's talk about that. You want to respect that individual's food preferences and sensitivities. So you can kind of, to a degree, try and provide food that's comfortable for them. So avoiding foods or ingredients that they dislike or find overwhelming. You're going to want to eat in places that are quiet and free from strong odors so that they don't have like sensory discomfort during meals. You're going to serve foods with milder and less intense flavors. You're going to allow, so one of the things I do with my kids are notoriously picky about food, but some kids are extra picky, and occupational therapy can help with that. So like I'll make dinner and I'll have like the chicken, and I'll like, when I go to flavor the chicken, I'll take some of that chicken out and put it on the side so my kids can have plain chicken, and then I'll flavor the chicken really with a bunch of spices and stuff for me and my husband. And that way the kids can still have the same food we're eating, but just a little bit milder. Or I'll keep everything a little bit separate. Like I'll put all the garnishes in little bowls on the side so people can choose what they add into their food. And I'm still just making one meal. I'm not making a separate meal for my kids, but they can just choose which parts of the meal they add on the sides. Clearly label foods and ingredients to help the individual make informed choices so they know what they're getting. You could try experimenting with different textures to accommodate their sensory preferences for mouthfeel. So for example, I cannot handle like baked squash or squash soup. Like that texture drives me crazy. But I do like squash in breads or in cookies, and that's just a texture issue. So a lot of times people with kind of severe taste avoiders, they might have a limited diet. So you can try incorporating nutrients into predictable foods. Like you can blend spinach into smoothies, or you can hide veggies in muffins. And I know that sounds like the opposite of what I just said, like make it predictable. But sometimes the problem they're having is the overwhelming taste, and you can kind of mix that in to make it less overwhelming. Or the texture, like, oh, eating a zucchini is very slimy, but mixing zucchini into muffins is like a very bread texture. For kids with extremely limited diets or adults, an occupational therapist can help you learn how to help them eat more variety of foods. Okay, Vestibular Seeker. Provide access to swings or swinging equipment, create opportunities for active play like trampolines, climbing structures, or engaging in sports that involve movement and balance. We have sensory swings in our house, platform swings and cocoon swings. Allow scheduled movement breaks during the day, or provide spinning toys or equipment like spinning chairs, merry-go-rounds, sit and spins, yoga balls, or wobble seats to sit on. For a vestibular avoider, you want to create quiet and low stimulation spaces. You want to probably avoid exposure to fast and intense movements like roller coasters or spinning rides. Like pick a different activity. You could try to encourage them to engage in gentle movement activities that are very predictable, like rocking in a rocking chair or yoga. You could offer warnings, and you could offer stability aids like handrails or balance aids to provide support. You could offer stability aids like handrails or balance aids to provide support during activities that challenge your balance. They might also need, they might be more sensitive to motion sickness, so you might need to support them with some anti-nausea medication. And again, I'm not a doctor, work with your doctor. Okay, we're almost to the end. Auditory seekers. So people who like a lot of auditory input. You can use white noise or music in the background. This is the kind of stuff I think most people can do naturally in our society. They maybe like to work in a louder environment like a coffee shop or a restaurant. You could take breaks to use musical instruments or listen to music, or you can pair learning or tasks with music. Schedule in moments in your day to get lots of musical stimulation, like listening to music loudly in your car, or going to a concert, or go and sing karaoke. and practicing a musical instrument, like going to music practices. That can all help fill that sensory diet, because we can't have music all the time, but we can have music a lot of the time. Okay, auditory avoiders, these are the ones who generally need more accommodations. And again, we don't want to spend too much of our lives avoiding things that actually kind of increases our auditory sensitivity. So you want to be careful with this, that you're not completely eliminating sounds. If you wear noise canceling headphones all the time, your ears are actually going to get more sensitive. So you want to do a sensory diet where some of the time you're in your comfort zone, some of the time you're in your stretch zone, and you don't spend too much time in your panic zone. But some of the things that can help you take breaks are noise canceling headphones or earplugs to block out unwanted sounds in noisy environments, like especially in short periods of time where you're trying to do deep work. You can create an environment like a special quiet space. Maybe you're going to work at the library or in a back office, or you're going to use room dividers, and IKEA sells these like felt pads that help dampen sound around you. Curtains, soundproofing materials. Basically, you're just going to try and create a quieter space in a shared, like, co-working environment. It can also be helpful to allow the individual who is auditory sensitive to control the volume of electronic devices like TVs, radios, or computers to make sure they're at a comfortable level. You can invest in noise-canceling devices for the home, like white noise machines, that can help dampen or mask disruptive sounds. You can provide warning signals, so you could let people know, okay, we're going to have a fire alarm today. Here's when it's going to happen, so that they can be a little bit mentally prepared. Or, hey, this machine is going to make a big noise in a second. Cover your ears, things like that. You can also try to add in flexibility into your daily schedule. That can help you avoid peak noise times or peak noise environments whenever possible. And if you work in an environment where there's a lot of people around all the time, you could use signs to let people know, hey, this is my quiet time, or please don't interrupt for 1 hour. You can ask me your questions at 1 o'clock, instead. So there's some examples. Of course, always, there are books and books out there. If this assessment has helped you find out, I'm an auditory avoider, then you can find tons more information about devices that can help with that, or any of the other areas. One thing I would say is an audiologist, they specialize in hearing issues, right? And there's other, nutritionists can specialize in feeding issues, and occupational therapists can specialize in these sensory issues. As you come to better understand what your sensory needs are, just make sure to reach out to professionals to help you tailor the right accommodations. And as always, I'm going to tell you, don't get too sucked into avoidance. Okay, I hope you found this little quiz helpful. If you'd like to learn more about incorporating a sensory diet, check out my other video. I'm going to put the link probably right here. And if not, it's in the description. Okay, thank you for watching and take care. Oh, you can download this sensory quiz and the little table to check it off, and the list of all the accommodations. You can download that at my website. So check out the link in the description for that too. Okay, thank you for watching and take care.